This episode is brought to you by Politica. You win when the right people hear you. Give us a call at 917-742-6342. And now, the Live Your Dreams podcast. All right, and we are back. This has been fantastic so far. I'll tell you something, Marcus, your journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Now, as so many people in the world need to know, as many times as there's many highs in life, positive things, life can always throw us a curveball. Life can throw us the unexpected. Years later, something very, very impactful has happened to you. We want to tell the audience a little bit about what life can do and how you kind of overcome and how that started your journey and to something a little negative in your life.
Well, about 10 years ago, at the height of my career, I suffered from 8 strokes consecutively in a little over a year. I suffered 8 strokes that left me partially paralyzed. My whole right side, my voice, I had no voice. I couldn't paint, I couldn't walk. It was very tough for me. It was tough knowing that my thing I loved the most, I couldn't do anymore. So I was very depressed for many years. But being that I had all these strokes took away my physical, but not my mental. So in my mind, I knew I was a great artist. I knew I could speak. And that was what was the driving force behind me rehabilitating myself.
It's the old saying that when you're on top, it never feels as good as you thought it would. And when you hit rock bottom, you never think you'll be back. And I think the important lesson learned, what Marcus didn't mention earlier was he has been a diabetic since he was a kid, which also didn't contribute to some of these health issues, which we're going to get into. When something that significant happens and you from the 90s to call it 2010, this 20-year run of being in the limelight and you're having all these people around you, when something this significant happens where you're just literally laid on your back, right? You're knocked out, can't speak, can't walk, partially paralyzed, can't paint, which was his entire life, comes back to New York to be rehabbed, and he saw who was really in his life for him and who was in his life for the limelight. And I mean, it's fair to say that a vast majority of the people who he considered close friends and were close with him every day, all of a sudden disappeared. Mm-hmm. And that is really, I think, what leads to the depression and the sadness, right? You build your career over a course of 20 years, and then something like this happens, and you really learn who your true friends and family are. Clark came back to New York to rehab. Over the course of months, it took him to, walk again and speak again. I mean, everyone listening can hear there is some type of, slowness in the way he speaks, and his voice has been altered, permanently. I mean, he's come, a very long way over the last few years. And I mean, he's essentially functioning like a normal person these days, right? But it was a miracle he shouldn't be, right? Each strokes in the course of a year, he should be dead, So there's a lot of lessons learned, I think, during those times where it humbles you and it brings you back down to reality that, you had this crazy run, but now, over the course of 1 year, how could it all be taken from you? Which I think, listen, there's always going to be ups and downs in life, and it's a lesson to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, what you do in life. It's not going to be just peaks the whole way. There's going to be some valleys in your life in anything you do. And this is just an example of your life and how it ended up being for you.
I remember when you used to like pixels on a camera, go to TV, all the pixels come together in an image. I remember you put one dash, you paint, step back, come back. You start doing the eyes again, which is where you first start with George's daughter.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would stab the canvas because he didn't have any motor skills. So he would just stab the canvas to start painting it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was the beginning of my therapy with painting became my therapy.
Yeah.
Every day I would put the brush in my hand, and there the canvas. As slowly but surely it started making bigger movements and bigger movements. And now, hey, over 10 years later, I'm painting again, which I'm very grateful for. I'm not as good as I used to be, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
good.
what was also very beautiful is I remember you painted a mutual friend's daughter, and you're actually teaching her, because she's actually an artist as well. From it's God-given,
Amazing.
and then all of a sudden she's doing this with you. And
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Nina's Crystal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have pictures of me and her holding. She's the little short,
Yeah,
and that's the big.
so than us.
And her work is amazing. And they actually have the painting that we did hanging up. Oh, wow.
Yes,
It's very cool. It's the eyeball. It's all dots.
it's full circle. That's what you said. You started with the eye as well.
That's incredible. I mean, literally, Marcus, it feels like painting gave you life, and then it literally saved your life. You feel that way about it? Art in general? Yes.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for my.
Yeah, so a few years after these strokes and him finally getting ahead of it and rehabbing back to being normal, he then needed a kidney transplant.
Oh.
Due to the diabetes and obviously strokes and the health concerns. So I think you have a very interesting story about the whole kidney experience as well.
Yeah. Well, about 7 years ago, I found that my kidneys failed, and I needed this transplant. So for about 2 years, I was on dialysis, and I put on social media that I needed a kidney. So a girl reached out to me and said, I think I know a girl that would donate her kidney. And like, anyone. It was a girl I painted 10 years ago that reached out to me. And so she asked a friend, she's like, how do you feel about giving your kidney to a complete stranger? And she said, sure, I would do it. And so she got back to me and said, yeah, she would give you her kidney. So she put us in touch, and she said, I only have to ask one person if I could give you my kidney. I said, sure, do whatever you need to do. And so she had a son, Aiden. Her name is Alicia Landicina. She said, she asked her, well, how do you feel about me giving my kidney to a stranger? And they looked at her and said, Mom, I want you to do it. And that was it. And her whole family of friends were like, no, you don't know this guy. Why would you do that? And
I'm not hearing not only the power of social media and inspiration, how it can actually help people, but the human condition, the human spirit. These people, they step up and they, people are good intention, inherently good.
yeah,
And that was a powerful example.
that definitely gave me faith in humanity to have someone to selflessly either part of themselves to a complete stranger.
So she had to fly in to see if she was going to be a good fit.
Had to fly in to see she was a match. And the day I met her for the first time, she flew in on Easter Sunday. And I thought to myself, who in their right mind was flying on Easter Sunday to give away a part of their body? And then I realized that God had sent me an angel.
Absolutely.
And sure enough, she was an angel. she ended up being a match. And she told me, because it was up to her to tell me whether she was a match or not. And she was a match, and she said, I'm ready to give you, like, give me, I'm ready when you are. And so we had the operation. Her mother and her son flew in from Kansas City, and the wife said, I tried to talk her out of it. I said, do me a favor, do not give this guy your kidney. And she said, now that I met you, now I know why she wants him to give her kidney. Yeah.
Says so much about your character and who you are. I mean, you have something about you that's incredible, and I think you can't learn this skill. You have something, again, you had an ability as an artist. You have an ability to draw people to you. That's a very special feeling. It feels like you have this, beautiful aura around you, that you attract good people.
Yeah, too.
It's a blessing.
It sure is. It's very blessed.
So that brings you down, and you have a phenomenal friend, business partner now sitting next to you.
Yeah.
You guys are really a great team, a great dynamic. What made you two? You and Dominic started working together. You guys are not only friends, but now you're together. You're working together. What made this happen?
Well, what happened was initially I met him in this friend, Chris.
And your cousin Jennifer.
Yeah, because actually I met him about 10 years ago at the party that my cousin took me to, and he was there, and I met him. So years later, George, as he said.
Yeah, so during COVID, I spent a lot of time in Miami. And we had known each other, call it from the Hurricane Sandy days, because how we met was through, I started a nonprofit organization called the Construct Relief Foundation. We were rebuilding homes for people after Hurricane Sandy here in New York. And I partnered with his cousin Jen to help fix someone's home.
And begins.
And Big Ange from Margot.
Yeah.
Angela was also a good friend of ours. So Big Ange and Jen, little Jen, his cousin, said, hey, we want to raise money, give it to your organization, and we want to rebuild a house for someone. And after that house was finished, the homeowner threw a big party for us, and Marcus came. And that's where we met. We stayed in touch. Good friend of ours, George, and I were spending a lot of time in Miami during COVID. We would see Marcus all the time because obviously he's down there in Miami. Him and I got very, very close. And I saw he was back to a state where he had the stamina and the energy and health to really start his art career again. He was probably on hiatus for 5 or 6 years, just rehabbing and trying to stay alive, essentially. And back then, NFTs was a big thing. Yeah, NFTs were coming out. Marcus didn't have a lot of his art because it was being sold over the years, and it was time for this rebirth and this re-announcement to the world. So he still paints on canvas every single day, and he still sells his art. But we said, why don't we do an NFT project? You have a lot of people to thank for you being alive. So we said we could donate proceeds of this project to these organizations that helped you. So what we didn't mention earlier is there's a very famous PETA ad, PETA, organization that protects animals, obviously, that Pamela Anderson's in, and Marcus actually painted Pam in that ad. Very famous ad. So he decided to do 3 art collections, NFT collections. One was donating proceeds to the National Kidney Foundation. The other was the American Heart and Stroke Association, and one was to PETA. And me being the business end of it and reaching out to these organizations, promoting it, and doing the back-end business work while he was creating the art, we made some really good connections, and we built some good relationships with these organizations. And besides him making them some money, they fell in love with him as well. And, since COVID, he's been honored at multiple galas that they've hosted. He's helped them raise money, and Marcus is back. He feels great. He's at the gym every day. He eats well, and he appreciates life, which I think is the most important thing. I mean, we take for granted, waking up every day. especially when you're in this either the rat race of daily life or stuck in this Hollywood world where it's just a 24-hour and never-ending party. Marcus has been given a second opportunity at life to really focus on what's important, and he's doing great things, which really, that's what really brought us together, and is making us do the work we're doing now.
You mentioned 3 collections. I believe that's a T-shirt of one of the. I mean, you can't see it on the audio, but you will see on the video behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Basquiat.
Yeah. So we had 3 collections. One was a series of paintings he actually painted in the height of his career, which was called the Idols Collection.
Oh.
The second was a collection of paintings that he made while he was actually rehabbing. So it's really rudimentary art. It's the stuff he did while he was getting back. And then we did the third collection.
I was off self-portraits during COVID. I was in work for, and I decided I got bored because I was left in my house, and I didn't know what to paint, so I would look at myself and draw myself in the mirror, and then I decided to do a whole collection of self-portraits.
Yeah, really cool images himself, how he was feeling during COVID, which COVID was a thing, right? Sure. So, one day he's wearing a mask, one day he's home, one day he's biking, one day he's on a beach. So he would take these selfies, almost documenting his life during COVID.
Right.
And we took these pictures, and he painted himself from, he'd have the selfie essentially on his iPad, on his iPhone here, and he'd do these murals. And and we did a whole collection of these images. So it's essentially a collection of art before his strokes, during the rehab, and then during COVID.
Oh.
And it was a great thing. It was a very fun project to work on. Him and I got very close to that time. I mean, I'd be flying down to Miami every couple of weeks, and
Sure.
we'd be planning and having interviews with some of his celebrity friends and promoting it. Right now, the crypto world is obviously down.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay because it's going to be back, and he's part of history. And now,
If I live the art, I mean, art is an expression of oneself, and we're better to embody that than you.
Yeah.
so Marcus has a website, marcussuarez.com. You can learn about his story there. There's a gallery of not only the work that he's done in his portfolio, but there's information there where you can get from him, and he can paint something unique for you guys. Okay.
I love seeing food on my Instagram. It's at Marcus Suarez.
Well, there's also another name, which is one of the old school names. Ents, is that your old taggy name? You put that like a middle name recently on Facebook. I like that. Yeah, you should. And it lives on.
Yeah, it all goes back to my high school days where the entrances to graffiti, and that became part of my life for the years to come. And even to this day, there are instances of graffiti in my wheels and my paintings, and it was my paid name. And the funny story about Ents was I used to write short in high school because the first 2 guys I met were over 6 feet tall, and I'm like this 5-foot tall guy, really short, and I look up to them, and they call me Shorty, so I started writing Shorty. So one day I'm like, I told my friend, I'm tired of writing Shorty. I want another graffiti name. And he said, well, I'm going to open this book, and whatever my finger lands, that's what you write. So I opens the book, and it lands on the word Ents.
Oh, there's a word, Ents, E-N-L-C.
No.
I know the word Ents, but not Ents.
Yeah, so this is the story. He said Ents. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, sure. So from that day, I ran with the word Ents as my name. And then, a few, 10 years later, I'm in the nightclub, and I see the guy, and he goes, I ever tell people, remember the day he being there? He's like, yeah, remember, because he never asked me what asked me. And I said, you know what, the visit with this, it's me. And he said it came from the word difference.
So
Different one life and ends on the next one. So that my name came from the word different.
Oh, it was hyphenated and followed me. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
and look at the difference you made in so many lives around you. I mean, we have so many entrepreneurs and artists listening, and it seems to me that one real message behind your life is persistence, never giving up, always standing by your dreams. If you can tell any listeners one piece of advice about always persevering, what would it be?
Well, I would say never get whatever the consequences are to keep striving, because that's what I did. The light is a very powerful thing. Even though I couldn't talk and I couldn't move, I knew my mind would tell me a great artist. And even though I started with that, I would look at my pages and say, oh my God, but what happened? But little by little over the years and the perseverance, I came back. I'm almost as strong as ever now.
Let me say something, though. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was actually overweight for a while, right? And I came from working out all my life.
Yeah.
Watching you in the gym inspired me to get back. I was like, if he can do it, I'm just depressed. Why am I not doing it? You know, and then you do it, and then it just builds on itself.
Yeah, well,
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
You know, exactly.
Dom, any words of wisdom for our listeners out there that you can give for entrepreneurs, artists, people that are achieving their dreams?
I would just say stick to it. You know, stick to one thing. There are going to be days you don't want to do it or you're second guessing yourself. Just stay focused on it and keep pushing. And all roads lead back to Brooklyn. It doesn't matter where you go. All roads, if you get lost in life, just all roads lead back to Brooklyn. That's great. And they'll save you.
Guys, this has been fantastic, really. I mean, inspiring both of you guys, really. All the listeners, please check out their websites, their social medias. Again, be ready to be inspired by incredible individuals out there. Marcus, Dominic, your guys' stories are both fantastic. It has been nothing but a pleasure having both of you, and we can't wait to hopefully have you on again in the future. Really, this has been fantastic.
Thank you, Joe.
Good luck.
Thank
you so much.
Thanks, guys. As always, this has been the...
Thank you, though.
Thanks, guys. This is the Live Your Dreams podcast. My name is Joe Gawalis and my co-host, Chris Victor. Again, we are the dreamers, and the dreams make the world go around. So please always follow your passion, always follow your dreams, always keep pushing, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.